Hi, I'm Taylor Miller with USA Wrestling, and today I'm joined by Yahya Thomas, a Northwestern wrestler who's also on our 2019 Junior World Team. Yahya, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Of course, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
Good
So,
to hear.
topic we're kind of discussing athletes that compete or train at a high level during Ramadan. And for those that aren't aware, you're a Muslim athlete who observes Ramadan. And so, first of all, I just wanted to know if you could just give us just kind of a breakdown of what Ramadan is and why you celebrate it.
Yeah, so Ramadan is one of the most special Muslim months during the year. It's on the lunar calendar, so it kind of changes around year to year, so it's never like the exact same time. But basically, the biggest thing during Ramadan is that we're fasting every single day for 30 days during the entire month. And essentially, with the fasting, that's basically uh, the reason behind it is that we're trying to grow ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. There's a lot of like reasons like why we fast, but those are like really like the big three, like to grow ourselves and to be able to just like kind of have those like life experiences and like kind of take away the things that we can control so that we can stay away from making bad decisions when we can actually control it and stay away from things that are like unlawful for us when we're kind of abstaining from things that are lawful for us. So that's kind of like the reason why we fast every day during Ramadan. And yeah, so that's kind of like a breakdown of what Ramadan is. Obviously, there's like a lot of uh, like stuff in the Quran about Ramadan and stuff like that. But at a high level, that's what it is.
Yeah, so for this year, as I understand, it's mid-April to mid-May. And like you said, it changes. So how do you personally celebrate Ramadan? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so for me, obviously, I'm doing the fasting every single day, um, and usually we also do special prayers at like in the morning and at nighttime, like when we start a fast and then when we break our fast. The prayer at night is usually like accompanied by like right after we like break our fast and like eat our dinner and everything. And it's usually we're supposed to like have a communal kind of atmosphere when we're praying. Obviously, with like COVID and everything, it's kind of hard to do that. But like usually we get together as a community and pray together, and we'll do like meditation and stuff like that too after the fast day is over.
So when you get up in the morning, because I know you guys have prayer in the morning, it's pretty early. What is it?
Mhm.
You pray, eat, then go back to sleep and then start your day, or what does the morning time look like for you?
Yeah, yeah. So that, I mean, like you said, is basically how it is. So I usually wake up and pray first because that's the most important thing, and then I usually eat. And it's like right now, it's around like 5 o'clock when I eat because the sun comes up like a little bit after 6. So it's pretty early, and usually just gotta set my alarm to make sure that I like actually get up. I gotta go to bed early and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I try to get as much like nutrients as I can in during that time, and so that way I can like kind of function and be able to train and stuff throughout the day.
Very cool. So you just brought up a point, training. You are competing at senior nationals next week.
Mhm.
Falls right in the middle of Ramadan. So for you as an athlete, in your wrestling career, how many times have you competed during Ramadan?
It's kind of hard to count. So I guess maybe a better question would be, when did I start fasting? I think I started fasting full days when I was in high school, or like a little bit before high school. So at least through high school, I was like competing, like at least training through Ramadan, if not competing. Actually, this a couple years ago when I actually competed for the junior world team spot, I was fasting during Ramadan before world team trials, so that was a big deal. And but yeah, usually it hasn't fallen like during the wrestling season, which is good. but because it like works backwards. So like now it's in the it's kind of getting closer to like spring, and it was like in the summer before, and it was like in the winter before that. So it's usually it's not during the season, but it's getting closer and closer to the season as my time goes on, and I still got like a year or two of eligibility at Northwestern. So hopefully it doesn't like collide too much with my season next year and the year after that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I almost unmute myself. So, in a sport where weight plays such a major role, how, like, what adjustments do you have to make when you're competing or training at a high level during this time?
Yeah, so part of the adjustment that I make is with my nutrition, right? So I actually have I work with an expert nutritionist at Northwestern, and we kind of go through like some of the things that I really need to pay attention to, like during Ramadan when I'm fasting, like long days, and training like once or even twice a day. And part of the big thing is just like making sure that I'm getting like all the calories I need and getting like all the like carbohydrates and proteins and things like that. But another thing is like making sure that I'm getting like the electrolytes I need because I like sweat a lot throughout the day, and like I'll have to replenish that when like during the times that I can actually eat and drink. And so usually that's like that plays a really pivotal role. And like you said, weight class plays a big deal when I'm wrestling. So when I'm fasting, I kind of tend to lose a little bit of weight naturally. So I can tend to eat a little bit more when I can eat because obviously I have shorter time windows of eating. So I'm usually more focused on getting as much fuel as I need to feel good rather than weight when I'm fasting, at least, because it's hard to do both at the same time.
Yeah, I bet. So it's funny. I've read that Ramadan is notoriously known for like weight gain sometimes because of the part it plays on your metabolism. So you're one of the lucky ones where that's not necessarily the case for you. So that's good.
Yeah, when you train as much as we do, that the metabolism thing is that just you just burn right through everything in like
Yeah.
the first practice. So
Right. So let's talk about, so you just kind of gave us a little bit on like adjustments and things like that. So from what I understand, when fasting, you can't eat or drink anything from sunrise to sunset. So take us through what like weigh-ins would look like for you. You don't get that time or that opportunity to, you know, put a lot of fluids in your body and nutrition right after weigh-in. So what does that look like for you?
yeah, so actually we don't fast when we're traveling. That's like one of the rules. It's like we don't fast when we're sick, we don't fast when we're traveling. There's like some other ones, but just an important one for like competition is that we don't fast when we're traveling. So technically like I'll be traveling for that event, so I won't be like fasting the day that I'm traveling or the day of the competition. And that's good because then I can just kind of focus on doing what I normally do in terms of like eating and drinking and preparing for the tournament, which makes things a lot easier, like on the actual tournament day and being able to perform and stuff like that. Like I won't be wrestling matches while I'm fasting or anything. So that actually works out pretty well.
The junior world team, you said you were observing Ramadan during that event.
I was observing Ramadan before the World Team Trials.
Okay. Okay.
So the big one, like where I decided if I was going to be on the world team or not.
Okay. So
Yeah.
for you, having had like that high level of competition while observing Ramadan, do you find that you're better as a competitor, a little off? I guess like what differences do you see in your performance?
It's actually interesting. Like during Ramadan, I feel like my mind's like freer and like more like creative, and so I can come up with like new improvements to my wrestling that I normally wouldn't be able to. And I think a part of that is just because I'm not thinking about eating and drinking as much, and so like my mind is able to kind of like think about other things other than that. Obviously, sometimes like I'll just get like hunger pains or just like feel like super tired or whatever, but other than that, like I'll be able to, I think I'll be able to like problem solve a little bit easier and just be a little bit more creative with my wrestling. So I actually make a lot of gains in like technique and strategy and stuff like that, which is like a bonus of being like in Ramadan and fasting every day. In terms of physically, like I feel like I don't know, it kind of depends. Sometimes if I prepare really well the day before and I'm like making sure that I eat all the right stuff, like I can perform very well and wrestle really well and like earlier in the day. And then as the day goes on, it becomes a little bit more difficult to be able to like put on like a great like practice or a great like performance or anything like that. But the good thing is that I usually don't have to because like I said, whenever I'm traveling, I'm not like fasting or anything like that. So that kind of helps me out in that regard. But I would say like definitely earlier in the day is better than like later in the day.
So for you, having observed this holiday, like you said, since maybe right before high school in this manner, um, do you find that when it comes to cutting weight or things like that, that you have a better attitude about it, a better mentality about it because you have had to go through this kind of stage at almost random times, right? I say random as in it's not during the wrestling season
Hmm.
day. So do you find that that's a little easier for you?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think that cutting weight and fasting are a little different. And the reason I say that is because fasting is within like bounds. So what I mean by that is that there's like a time period in the day, like even though you can't eat or drink anything, you're not necessarily like worried about making a weight class. So it's a little bit like less stressful in that regard. But I think that it does prepare me like mentally to be able to train and like to be able to compete on low and maybe if I have low energy and I like have a tough weight cut or something like that, I can like come back and wrestle really hard because I've already competed with low energy before for like an entire month, or like not competed but trained in like high intensity practices with low energy. So I know mentally in the back of my head that I can put on a great performance and I can wrestle really hard, even though like I don't feel great, which is definitely a booster for like during the season or any like kind of like performance when I have to like execute when I might not be feeling my best. If that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. So that's really the all the questions I have. But is there something else that you think people should know about maybe some things that a Muslim athlete has to do differently because of Ramadan, or some different perspectives that you have?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I would say is that I think Ramadan is one of those months where like a lot of different people can like fast during Ramadan and take the benefit, even if you're not Muslim per se. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, fasting kind of has a lot of like physical, mental benefits that like you just can't get from not fasting. So I think I would encourage everyone to like try to like do maybe like a day or two or like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, like you don't have to do the whole month, but like just give it a shot. I think that it's definitely the benefits outweigh the cost in terms of you're just foregoing your food and drink for a day, but in return you're getting all this mental clarity and like physical well-being. Your body's able to flush out like all the toxins. You're not like eating food and drinking all the time. So I think that the benefits outweigh the costs, and I think that a lot of people should do it more. I don't think it has to be specifically. You don't have to be Muslim to fast. Is what I should say.
All right, yeah, yeah. So you are going to senior nationals next week. Remind us what weight class you're going and what your competition schedule looks like moving forward.
Yeah, so this next event, I'm going to be competing at 70 kilos. Um, and after this event, I'm planning on going to like either Pan Am's or like another like tournament like after that. And then in the summertime, I'm planning on going to maybe a few overseas tournaments to try to compete with some international guys, some of like the top level like Russians or like Japanese or like other countries. Um, and then yeah, my plan after that is to make a senior world team. So that's kind of like my that's my competition schedule in my head right now. Obviously things can change, but that's where my head's at in terms of where I see myself in the next like coming months to a year.
Very cool. Well, best of luck to you next week and the rest.
Thank you.
And thanks again for your insight and your perspective. We really appreciate it.
Of course, no problem.